You likely have felt it if you've been outside. It's not going to last long. It's not going to be as intense as what we just came out of last weekend and certainly Monday into Tuesday. It's going to be a little different than that, but it is going to be cold when you wake up tomorrow. Again, that front already doing a number on things. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Post in the comments where you're tuning in from. We're taking a live look, courtesy of our friends at Weatherstem, by the way, in Micanopy and in Jasper, Florida, where it is much colder at this hour than where we were last night, to a tune of anywhere from 10 to 20 degrees colder, depending upon where you're at in the state of Florida or the southeast corner of the United States. By the way, we're coming at you live tonight, as always, on News 6 Plus and on the News 6 YouTube page. So I hope everybody is doing well and staying warm. If you have not uncovered your plants, don't do it yet. After tonight, you can shed the sheet and let them see sunshine again. I don't think any of my plants made it. I don't know how everybody else fared, but it's basically a crime scene at the house. All right, so 10 to 20 degrees below where we were at this hour. So 24 hours ago, we were talking about air temperatures being in the 50s and 60s. 34 right now in Tallahassee. That's the cold spot. We're at 44 in Jacksonville as we see that very narrow stripe of cold come right on down the interior side of the Florida Peninsula. We're at 47 in Orlando, 51 in Fort Myers, still doing pretty nice in Key West. We are in the low 60s. There is the front that did it all. It is back toward Cuba. It is crossing the Bahamas. And that is continuing to slide back out to sea closer to Bermuda, leaving us in its wake the much colder air that continues to hang around the Florida Peninsula. That front did bring us some rain today. It wasn't much as expected. We talked about that most of us would see some light rain. It was a little bit heavier just southeast of the I-4 corridor. And I think the high resolution model guidance got that to a T. It showed that teeny tiny flare up of some heavier stuff right around the Tampa area and then towards Cape Canaveral and then south into Brevard County and parts of Osceola County. So that is where we had the heaviest rain, to a tune of maybe closing in on a half inch, 3/4 of an inch of rain. Again, it was not much. We'll take what we can get, but it is likely not going to put a dent in the drought situation that we've gotten ourselves into, which did expand today. That's going to be the other part on the other side of this break. We're going to talk about the expanding drought in Florida because it did get worse from last week to this week, and it's probably going to get worse again because there's not a ton of rain in the forecast. Now, the drought monitor, which I will show you in a couple of minutes, it does not include the rain we got today. It only goes up until Tuesday. So it's from Tuesday to Tuesday, and then it's released on Thursday. So we don't have the rainfall in the drought monitor. I don't suspect that we are going to see much change when it comes to that. Okay, so back to the cold now. All my colors ran away. This is going to be for tomorrow morning, early in the morning. This is where we have that freeze potential. And again, it is much, much smaller. It's that dark purple color, pretty much from right around the villages through most of Marion County, toward Gainesville, Tallahassee, back toward Pensacola, right around Jacksonville, and then into Georgia. So that is where I'm expecting temperatures to get to 32 degrees or colder. In the pink shaded color, there's a frost potential. I really don't think it's looking just at the temperature at this, by the way. I don't think we're going to see a ton of frost, and it's because the wind stays cranked up. That's the other component with this. And in order to get frost, you need to have the clear skies, which we have, but we don't have calm winds. In order to get the frost, things need to be settled and calm. We do not have that out there. It is gusty. So that is one thing that is going for us, at least a positive to the wind, because as Melissa mentioned, it is making it feel much, much colder than it actually is outside. And there will be a little wind chill tomorrow. It'll make it feel more like the 20s by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. Temperatures, these are the actual air temperatures now. We're at 35 in Jacksonville. This is tomorrow morning. At the freezing mark in Tally, 41 in Tampa, 37 degrees in Orlando. So it is going to be a cold morning, but nowhere near as cold as the ridiculousness that we woke up to on Sunday morning, which was air temperatures in the mid 20s, some of us in the low 20s, and where we had wind chills literally in the single digits and teens because the wind was still going nuts behind last weekend's front. It's still breezy out there. It is, again, I'll keep comparing it to what we saw on Sunday and Monday, and even bleeding a little bit into Tuesday. Nothing like what we saw with the last front. And believe me, when we're calling 37, not too bad, we were just frigid. So take that with it what you will. Very, very it's all perspective this time of the year. Highs tomorrow going to struggle. The only place that we are at average is Pensacola, being in the mid 60s. That gray box, that gray color represents where we have the average temperature. The blue would be below normal temperatures, and everybody, with the exception of Pensacola, going to be below normal tomorrow. Low to mid 60s. It's going to be nice in the sun, but still a little chilly out there for sure as we move through the day tomorrow. Sunshine will be dominant. There is a big warm-up coming. Ridiculous warm-up. For the first time in a while, we have 80s on the 7-day. It's at the back half of the 7-day, but we have an 80 on there. It has been quite some time since we have been above normal. Alrighty, guys. On the other side of this break, we are going to talk drought. It is not the best news. Of course, we were on here live when we had some brush fires breaking out last weekend. And over the last couple of days, we had another one in Flagler County last night that prompted some voluntary evacuations. So not the trend that you want to see, especially when it looks to be on the drier side for at least the next week. We get deeper into wildfire season. We get deeper into drought season as we roll through the dry season, deeper into February, March, and April. So we could use some rain. Alrighty, guys. I will see you in just about 3 minutes. We're going to break down the statewide drought monitor. I'll see you then. What's going on, guys? It is a Thursday night. We are almost back to the weekend. Jody, middle of the week probably. It's still going to be chilly in the mornings for the next few mornings. This is going to be the coldest one of the bunch coming tomorrow. But then we're back to the mid-70s by Wednesday. So whatever your comfort level is inside your house, just keep those blinds open, let that warmth in. And really by the middle to latter stages of this upcoming work week, we are going to thaw out. I believe that is Kimberly. I don't see her on the chat tonight. But in terms of that fire, the Pace Court fire, I believe is what it's called. Let me check. It is now 318 acres and 75% contained. So they're still having some issues with that. And obviously, we do not need any kind of wind out there. And we unfortunately have a lot of it. I think she was downwind of it when it was northwest, when the breeze out of the northwest. So hopefully everything's going well with Kimberly and her family in Interlaken tonight. But we are still watching that fire, not contained just yet. And unfortunately, it's going to be difficult because of the wind that is going to come with it for the rest of tonight. And then again tomorrow, with things still being very, very dry, the air being very, very dry behind it. Again, we got a little bit of rain today, not a ton, only 0.05 of an inch of rain over the past 24 hours at the Orlando International Airport. 600s in Jacksonville, a little bit more in that green stripe just southeast of I-4, so pretty much Tampa, and then to the east towards Polk County, Osceola, the southern half of Brevard, ended up getting some decent rain, relatively speaking, out of the deal. What is not so decent is the fact that we have the expanding drought through the state of Florida. I'm going to make the county lines a little more prevalent here. I'm doing this on the fly. I want to so in case we have anybody tuning in from different counties, and then let me just make my state lines also a little bit darker, because as you can see where everything is going, see it darken it up a little bit. Okay, so there we go. That's the issue that we have. Extreme drought expanding through Florida. We had it around Tallahassee. We had it around Marion County. Now the two kind of entities are connected from Marion County back towards Tallahassee. And then we have another speck of it popping up around Tampa, Fort Myers, and then another little dab closer to the Everglades. So we could use some rain. The best faring place right now is northern Brevard, Osceola, and into Seminole, Orange County. That is where we have just, quote unquote, just the abnormally dry category. But that is where that's the only spot of the state right here, like right along the I-4 corridor in Central Florida, that is not officially in a drought. So that's the deal. Not the best news for sure. Taking a closer look in the greater Central Florida area, just to kind of give you perspective, again, anytime you start to get in that red color, and we had that pop up last year through parts of Sumter Lake and Marion counties. I think that bled into Flagler and Volusia, if I'm not mistaken. But we did have the run-in with an extreme drought last year. The thing of it is, it came on deep into the season, not early into the season. I would still consider this early into the season to have this kind of magnitude of drought going on through the state, because we have so many months to go. We talked about that before we got into the dry season, because the wet season end wasn't all that wet. And that's always a problem too, because as we get the sun angle higher and higher in the sky, which it is going to do so and continue to do so, as of course we work towards spring and eventually towards summer, that's going to be an issue, because then we start to dry things out even further. These cold fronts that have come down have also made it a little more susceptible for fires to get started and to spread, because the air that they are bringing with it is also very dry. So there's the extreme drought. And this is something that we're going to be following every day, of course. This is the first time that I'm busting this map out this season. This is one of my favorite maps. I don't like showing it for the reasons that we're doing it, but it tells the story, and we can kind of keep things, we can see how the drought and the fire conditions are evolving day by day. So this might end up becoming, again, a daily graphic in the show as we watch this. So what this is the Keach Byram Drought Index, and it's a fancy little thing. samples are taken around the county, and they are averaged together to get that number that you see in the color. Okay, so like take Sumter for example, 548. That's the average of a bunch of different areas taken around Sumter County. It has to do with how deep the moisture goes down into the soil. Obviously, if it's drier, it can cause fires to spread better. So it's not really an indication of the fire potential, but it's just how dry things are. And obviously, the higher that number, the more fuel there is for fire to take advantage of if something were to get going. So our biggest trouble spots here in Central Florida are going to be Brevard, are going to be Osceola, Polk, Lake, Sumter, Marion, Putnam. I mean, we want to stay out of that greenish color and beyond. And then certainly we don't want to get into the 600s or the 700s. Typically, counties will enact a burn ban once we cross the 500 threshold. And we've done that in Marion. We've done that in Sumter. We're doing relatively okay in Seminole and Orange right now, but it's something to note. And again, that little box there to the right where it has like the -1 in Marion or the 2 in Flagler, that is the number of change over the past 24 hours. So that, and this is something that comes out every single day. So it is a very neat thing to watch. We like it when it starts going down so that we don't have any kind of issues, but it really does tell the story, and we can keep tabs on just how dry things are as a whole into Central Florida. So just something to be mindful of. We have this. I'll be watching this closely, and we're going to be making this probably a regular staple to the show from this point, since we are getting into the burn ban criteria, especially across the I-75 corridor. Alrighty, guys, if you have any questions, post in the comments. I have to get another break in. I will see you guys in just about 3 minutes. We are back on a Thursday night. We are almost through the week that has been a wild week weather-wise. Obviously, the bitter cold to start it, the warmth yesterday, and now the bitter cold again, albeit not as cold. We're thinking about Kimberly for sure. Hopefully, she pops on tomorrow night so we can get an update from her to know that she's okay up there dealing with the fire and everything else. I know she was saying that the smoke was terrible again last night. I believe that was last night when she was on. So we're thinking about her, praying for her, and hopefully that fire gets under control soon going forward. Again, if you're just joining us tonight, it's all about the chill. We'll go back to the forecast where we are going to see temperatures again chilly, not as cold as the weekend. 37 in Orlando when you wake up tomorrow, at the freezing mark in Tallahassee, at the freezing mark in Ocala. West Palm, we're at 43. Pensacola, we're at 40. And 58 in Key West. So a little chilly tomorrow. High temperatures tomorrow, going to get back into the 60s. Wishful thinking, wish casting again. But it's going to be a pretty nice day tomorrow. It will still be gusty. That's going to be the thing. That it is you are going to notice that breeze remaining until we get into Saturday morning. And that is why it's also going to be pretty chilly on Saturday morning, because we have the high pressure overhead. You guys know, clear skies, calm winds, temperatures kind of escape back into space a little bit faster. And that is how we kind of radiate all that warmth and all that stuff. So we're going to get through the chill just one more night. And then again, middle of next week, we're talking mid 70s. And then we are pushing 80 Thursday. What's today? Today's Thursday, Wednesday into Thursday. So the warmth is coming. Alrighty, guys. I hope you have a great evening. I hope everybody's staying warm. We're almost through this. Although there's indications that we're not completely done with the cold air later on in February. We are going to be talking about the cold maybe coming back. We'll get into that part a little bit deeper on the Long Range Monday segment. We'll take a deeper dive at that to see if there is, in fact, a little more cold coming towards the end of the month. We'll have to wait and see about that. Every now and then I try out the mini beard. It is getting shaved a little bit tomorrow. I don't let it get too crazy. This is the extent. This is the extent that the beard goes out. It never gets longer than this, or whatever you want to say. But sometimes it's just, you got to bring out the inner lumberjack when it's cold out. For sure. Should have wore the flannel. Alrighty, guys. Have a great night. Stay cold. Stay warm. It is cold out there. And we will talk again tomorrow night, 9:30. Better yet, a couple of minutes on News 6 at 10, and then on News 6 at 11. We'll see you back here tomorrow night. Thanks so much for spending some time with me and talking about the weather every night, Monday through Friday at 9:30. I appreciate that, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a great night.